Kia ora, good evening. Two Invercargill City councillors have now formally registered their opposition to last month's signing of a sister city relationship with Chinese city Suqian. Councillor Lindsay Abbott last week voted against the sister city recommendation at the Finance and Policy Committee meeting. He was last night joined by fellow councillor Karen Arnold, who officially registered her opposition at the final City Council meeting for 2013.
I was concerned about the lack of information. And I was also concerned about the council's unwillingness to follow the law. Now, the Local Government Act 2002 demands that we follow certain procedures so that our decision making is good, and I have concerns that we didn't do that very well at all.
And so where to from here, do you think? The Mayor certainly has dismissed any concern really and said that it's all going very good for Southland.
Well, the recommendation to endorse the Mayor's signing of the agreement was endorsed by the majority of the council last night, and the sister city relationship has started.
So the issue moves on, that's it, we move on?
Well, I'd like to still be finding out what budget we have. I spoke to Finance and Policy Chairman Councillor Neil Boniface last Thursday preparing for this meeting, and he had to concede not only had there been no cost-benefit analysis done, he didn't even know what the budget for the sister city relationship was, so that's how lacking in detail this whole decision is.
What benefit is it for anyone really in rushing this through and not doing that due diligence or due process?
Well, I don't know, and that's the question as well. Why has it been rushed through? One of the questions I had was, well, there's a free trade agreement between China and New Zealand. May that impact on our ability to come up with preferential or exclusive trading deals with Suqian City? I don't know, but those are questions I think we should have been asking and have answered.
Trade in general with Suqian or any other China, you have no problem with the region benefiting potentially from what could be large amounts of trade, or we've been promised that that's a possibility?
I have no problems considering a sister city agreement anywhere in the world. What my problem is that if you're going to consider these ideas, that you do so with as much information and as much good quality information as you can.
If legislation has been ignored, is there not room for redress?
My understanding, and I pointed it out last night, that if council or councillors don't follow the appropriate decision-making processes and apply the principles of the Act to their decision-making, it can be up for judicial review.
Invercargill Mayor Tim Shadbolt was unavailable for comment today. Instead, he referred South Today News to his mayoral report for November, where he states that it was my belief that we took every opportunity to keep councillors informed of this initiative right from the beginning. I believe that it is unfair to suggest that we have not been transparent regarding this relationship. A new phone blocking system launched by Vodafone, 2 Degrees and Telecom, could see the end of cell phone thefts. The phone system allows people to shut down their mobile within 24 hours of them being stolen. Once the phone has been shut down, it becomes blacklisted and can't be used on any network in New Zealand, even if the SIM card is removed. Chief Executive of the Telco Users Association, Brian Bislin, says it means phone stealing will become pointless. He says it's tremendous and is great to see the telcos working together on a matter like this. He says it really does make life difficult for the criminals and much easier and safer for customers, and will make stolen mobiles very difficult to sell on. And staying with cellular communications, a recent survey of 29,000 moving vehicles found 1 in every 40 drivers using a cell phone. The Ministry of Transport survey found around half those using a mobile phone while driving had a phone held to their head, while the other half appeared to be texting. The survey was carried out at 52 locations nationwide in June, and also found when vehicles were queuing, the number of mobile users increased to 1 in 20, with the majority texting. Associate Transport Minister Michael Woodhouse is urging drivers to obey the law, which banned cell phone use while driving 3 years ago. Those caught breaking the law face an $80 fine for using a mobile device while driving. A reminder from Chief Electoral Officer Robert Beaton that tomorrow, Thursday, is the last day to get referendum voting papers in the post. The referendum asks voters the question, do you support the government selling up to 49% of Meridian Energy, Mighty River Power, Genesis Power, Solid Energy and Air New Zealand? As of Friday the 6th of December, almost 1.2 million voting papers had been received by the returning officer. Stay with us. After the break, it's almost game on at the new Stadium Southland. Welcome back. It's almost game on at Stadium Southland with the venue's first event in over 3 years scheduled for next Friday night. Ticket demand for next week's variety concert has been so high an extra 350 seats were released for sale today. 80-odd workmen continue to work on the rebuild and although not complete, the stadium has met compliance for the Christmas concert with staff completing a dry run on emergency evacuation tonight. Manager Nigel Scalt says they're now focusing on positives like the venue's multi-purpose ability. International experts are on site hanging the sports curtains while rigging and drop curtains are also being installed for the concert.
Lots of variety, obviously, lots of dancing, lots of local entertainment, but we've got two special stars coming in obviously for the show. The winner of X Factor, Jackie Thomas, and the boy group from Christchurch, Morehouse. So a lot of interest around those two, but a host of Invercargill talent, and I think you're going to see a real classic variety show.
So you've got one stand fully sold out and you've opened up half of another one. You've people on the floor as well here?
Yeah, 700 on the floor, so we're taking it to capacity now, 2,200 for this particular show. Obviously we can go to 4,000, but just to ensure that we've got everything in place, we're keeping that limit of 2,200.
Now things aren't complete here, they are getting close. What have you had to do for compliance to get the show up and running with ICC?
I worked really closely with ICC and Simon and his team. They've been fantastic, making it happen for us next Friday night. Obviously tonight's very big for us. We've got a fire evacuation tonight trial, so we'll go right through that with around about 38 staff on tonight, just checking and going through the processes we need to ensure the safety of obviously everybody coming. So that's critical tonight.
After the show's over next week, what is the next step for the stadium as far as getting it complete and the next acts that are coming through? Yeah,
we've got to get the core block finished, obviously, which is directly behind me. That's been the issue we've had for some time. So we won't have the foyer or the core block upstairs operating for the show. So come 6th of January, the team will be back in and we'll work through that 3-week period, and the actual building will be handed over to us on the 28th of January. So in that period of time we will just commission everything and make sure we're ready to rock and roll for the actual official opening mid-February.
The squash courts look like they're virtually complete, and the relocation of the climbing wall.
Yeah, fantastic, and we've had a quick look at that. Look, I think the rock climbing wall is going to have a massive wow factor for the kids and the big kids as well. Heaps of team building, but it's really colourful, heaps of climbs there, and we've refurbished the whole squash courts as well. So pretty exciting. There's a massive wow factor with this new venue.
And the admin staff are picking up now that their area's being worked on too.
Yes, it's been almost 3 years now, 38 months without a home, and really pleased to say that the foundations for that have started. So looking forward to getting back into our new home in February next year.
The whole thing has a wow factor, there's no doubt about that. There is also some quite trick equipment being used for the event next Friday night.
Yeah, there is. We've got a few surprises. Obviously, Sandy brings surprises, so our show's got to have a couple of Christmas surprises. So look, we're going to have a wow factor next Friday night. If you haven't got a ticket, you need to get one because it's a very special show.
Next year's inaugural Southern Wild Foods Festival is shaping up with ticket sales underway and storefronts completed. Trade students at Invercargill's Southern Institute of Technology have been working hammer and tongs to build storefronts for the event being held on the community courts at Stadium Southland on Saturday the 22nd of February. The fundraiser for the Rape and Abuse Centre Southland is an Invercargill Rotary Club project. EPMU Southland organiser Trevor Hobbs says it's now a waiting game to see if the court upholds an earlier employment court decision to award TY workers additional time in lieu. The dispute dates back to 1991 when employees of the smelter began transitioning from 8-hour shifts to 12-hour shifts. Southland EPMU organiser Trevor Hobbs explained the union position to Hunter Andrews.
Workers were complaining that when they took a day off on leave, they were having to take a day and a half out of their leave accumulation because the company was still accumulating leave in blocks of 8 hours, even though the workers were then working 12 hours. So we took the dispute to the Employment Relations Authority, and the Employment Relations Authority ruled in our favour. However, the company decided to appeal the decision.
Which they have every right to, don't they?
They have every right to do that. With the Employment Relations Authority, they can appeal the decision simply because they don't like it. However, the dispute has been heard over the previous 2 days in the Invercargill court. So it is now in the hands of an employment court judge, Judge Couch, and we are awaiting his decision. So when that decision comes out, they can't appeal it just because they don't like it. They can only appeal it on a point of law.
We're talking potentially millions of dollars in time and lieu, aren't we?
Well, what you need to appreciate is the claim that we've put in is a leave claim. It's not a money claim. And I was campaigning on site, looking to join up TY employees in the EPMU on the basis that they could add their name as an applicant to this particular dispute. Now, in July last year, the company came out and they made an announcement to every worker on site that in the event that the union win this dispute, they will pay out to all employees who qualify. Now, when they did that, they probably increased the cost of this dispute to themselves 5 or 6-fold. So I don't see that on the one hand, they can make a decision to pass this dispute on to everyone who's not members of the union and then grizzle about the cost of it. I mean, that's their doing and their choice. But if we win this dispute, it's about uncredited leave entitlements. It's not a money dispute. It only becomes a money dispute where workers have finished up and in theory been underpaid in their final pay. And I mean, those workers, there is a 6-year statute of limitation. So it would only affect workers who have left in the last 6 years.
10 New Southlanders had their New Zealand citizenship confirmed at a special ceremony at the Southland District Council today. The 10, including 2 from Britain, 5 from South Africa, 2 Filipino and a Kenyan, took the oath of allegiance and pledged loyalty to Queen and country in front of friends and family at the citizenship ceremony this morning. Southland District Council Mayor Gary Tong led the event for the first time since taking office in October. Mr Tong welcomed the new citizens to New Zealand and particularly to the South. Each new resident was presented with a native plant from the Southland Multicultural Council. And that's it from the news team tonight. Sport is along next after the weather. From us, good evening.